You're watching The Big Story this evening, and we are looking at what is threatening to bring down the Jubilee party. And we're speaking to Kimani Ichung'wah, who's the Kikuyu Member of Parliament. We also have Isaac Mwaura, who's the nominated senator, speaking to us from our I&M studio. And we're trying to look at the reasons that the issues that have been raised that could actually bring Jubilee party down or tear it apart, listening to the different leaders. And all this has been orchestrated by the sentiments of David Murathe. And he gives a very elaborate explanation on why now. Can we listen into what he had to say about not having two communities leading the country for years? Listen in.
This presidency has only been run by two. Kikuyu akimaliza, Kalenjin nachukua. Kalenjin akimaliza, Kikuyu nachukua. Most probably, after Kikuyu finishes, hii ingine itakuwa Kalenjin. Na yeye kwa sababu anataka kura ya hii Mount Kenya, labda atapatia running mate itakuwa Kikuyu. Kwani hii ni ping pong ama table tennis? Na hizi kabila zingine 40.
Kimani Ichung'wah, let me begin with you. From where you sit, is this a politics of inclusion, or is it about terms and whether or not William Ruto served as a president with Uhuru Kenyatta? Is this about allegations being made about corrupt individuals around him? Where do you think all this points to?
Let me tell you, Linda, one, Murathe is being extremely dishonest. Why President Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto and the other political leaders who dissolved their political parties to form one strong party that, as Isaac said, held a very huge promise for this country, and I still want to believe that it holds a very big promise for this country, was one, to create a political machine that would be able to provide an opportunity for anybody, irrespective of where you come from, so long as you have the ability and you merit to be able to lead this country through a strong political party like Jubilee. It will not matter what ethnic background you are from, or what religion or what race you come from. And that is a kind of political party that President Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto had in mind. People with such myopic thinking as David Murathe, politics of the 80s and early 90s, when people were coming together in terms of this ethnic community plus this other ethnic community, is what President Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto told us way back in 2013, that we shall not only transform Kenya and change people's lives, but we will also transform the manner in which we carry about our politics. And they began that journey of transforming how we politic, how we do our politics in this country, that we can indeed form one huge national party. And I remember we even encouraged those of our competitors to come together so that we can have another strong political formation that would compete with Jubilee, and compete on the basis of the ideologies and the policies that you want to espouse and push forward for this country. Therefore, to hear somebody who had even been given the opportunity by the party membership to lead the party as a deputy or a vice chair, to be taking not just the party but the country back to the politics that we are moving away from, I think is rather unfortunate. But I think we must be honest with each other. It has nothing to do with two communities. It has nothing to do with now Murathe turning to be this huge nationalist more than anybody else in this country. It has everything to do with a small cartel of power brokers. A small cartel of power brokers who have tried by all means to stop William Ruto from ascending to the presidency. And I think it started with people saying William Ruto should not be going around the country commissioning any development projects. And I think the president has made it clear today that he will also move from Namanga to Moyale, from Kisumu to Mombasa, initiating development projects across the country. And that is a spirit that the deputy president works with as the president's principal assistant. And I do not expect, and I would not expect William Ruto to stop doing the same, because that is what he's charged by the Kenyan people to do, to assist His Excellency the President in delivering on the mandate of developing this country that they were given in 2017. And I want to expect that he will continue, the President will continue to do the same. The likes of David Murathe and the cartel that he represents is a cartel that has tried by all means to paint William Ruto in negative light in the eyes of the public. You have seen a spirited effort, and I say this without any fear of contradiction, a spirited effort to associate every other small scandal in this country with William Ruto, or even create perceptions, even to an extent of creating perceptions based on ethnicity. Okay. That this is a William Ruto person, this and that. And I'll tell you, Linda, and allow me to say this. The same cartel in July this year orchestrated phone calls to myself, threatening me that I would face dire consequences if I continue to accompany William Ruto across the country. And they told me straight up, and it's a matter that is before DCI. It has taken them now, I think, 6-7 months to investigate. And I'm sure if it was anything else, people would have been arrested. But I think it is this cartel, and they're coming out. They are becoming so desperate.
Mheshimiwa, hold on.
And you heard it from David last night.
What do you mean that you're sure that if it was anything else, a couple of people would have been arrested by now? You think not enough is being done to probe this? I mean, these are serious allegations, you know.
I will tell you, I honestly, it is not an allegation, it is a fact of life. I reported the incident. At a time like now, about 8:30 p.m., somebody called me and told me I am a very small person to kill. I will die if I am seen with William Ruto again. And I will tell you, I canceled my flight to the U.S. the following day and accompanied William Ruto to Kiharu. And I did tell them I will not take any threats to stop doing what I have done from 2013 to 2017. And I will continue, because that is what the people of Kikuyu and the people of Kenya have elected me to do, to serve them and to roll out development projects that will be beneficial to the people of Kikuyu and the people of Kenya.
All right.
And to represent them and to speak my mind. And I will not be cowed. And I'm telling you, it is the same cartel that has gotten so desperate. They tried first by intimidating members of parliament or to accompany the deputy president. They moved to creating those perceptions of corruption around the deputy president and anybody who would be linked to him. I'm saying it was anything else, people would have been arrested. Right. Linda, I'm telling you, if I touch anything to do with corruption today, this Friday, I will be arrested and taken in until maybe Tuesday or Thursday the following week. And those perceptions are there. Let us not run away from them. Two, they have moved to the debate on the referendum. That they have been unable to convince Kenyans that it is not a debate that will be beneficial to the Kenyan people, but will be beneficial to creating positions for a few selfish people.
Hold on,
Murathe said it yesterday.
Yeah, I heard him about the referendum, but I need to bring in Mheshimiwa Isaac Mwaura into this. Mheshimiwa Mwaura, Mheshimiwa Ishugwa says this is about cartels, these are perceptions that is being created. There's nothing to this. All of this, the conversation that is going on around 2022 succession and the deputy president, are those sentiments you share?
I think personally, and by the way, I'm not able to get what Ishwanga is saying because there's too much feedback.
I'm sorry. I am apologizing for that. I'm so sorry. We'll try and fix it.
Yeah. The issue is there are very fundamental issues that we need to look as a country, and we cannot run away from them. Is that number one, we have a system that is a winner-take-it-all, and this system is untenable. It is making our politics very highly risky, because then if it's you know, the presidency or nothing, and we have now seen very clearly, and I think there is a legitimate concern that you need to have an inclusive government, and for me that one I think is a very important aspect. And the clamor, for example, to create the position of prime minister and two deputies so that you are able to distribute powers more evenly, for me, I fully support it. I even would want to call upon that the first runners-up in a general election and the running mate should join the Senate and the National Assembly so that they can lead their troops from there. These are some of the reforms that need to take place. And I think, for me, in my opinion, it would be preposterous to say that the war on corruption is targeting a certain individual. Personally, I don't think so, because I have seen people being arrested from the Kikuyu community, like the Mwangi of NHIF. I have seen people from other communities who have been, implicated in corruption, and they will have their day in court. So really, the question is, let us wait and see. How this is going to unravel. The most important thing is, Linda, we are politicking too much, and in that regard, then we cannot have development. And that is hurting the common mwananchi. And let me say this, with this kind of mistrust within the Jubilee administration, then it becomes extremely difficult to implement government programs, because then we are speaking from both ends of our mouth. I mean, if you look at all the tantrums or the tirades that are coming from Jubilee members, I mean, it is a house, that is cannibalizing itself. And I don't think, after all is said and done, Linda, this is going to benefit us at all. So really, the call for a referendum, I think, for me, is a genuine call. The fight against corruption, because, there's a reason why, Linda, we had NYS 1. When nothing seemed to have been taken into account, nobody was actually prosecuted successfully so far. I don't think I know of any. There was NYS 2. Why would there not be an NYS 3 or any other scandal? So we really have to sit and ask ourselves, is this the country that we want? And these are genuine questions. Because right now, we would want to talk about a future president. And it is true. I may have my own ambitions as Isaac Mwaura. But what would that presidency be beneficial if immediately you get into power, people start looking for ways of dislodging you out of power so that they can themselves occupy? So are we looking at a situation where it's about personal ambition, or is it about the development of this country? And those questions must be asked, because we live in this country and we don't have any other country, Linda, that we are going to go to.
Okay, so this is our country, we have no option, this is all we have. And President Uhuru Kenyatta today in Mombasa said, we need to put a stop to politics. He said, we are in a scenario where we have siasa amka, siasa kulala. Mheshimiwa Ishungwa, I have less than 4 minutes to go. Your parting shot on where do we go from here? What is the way forward, A, with respect to Jubilee, and how we carry on as a country?
I think one, Linda, from what Isaac says, nobody is saying, and we cannot say that the fight against corruption is not important for this country, but it's unfortunate to associate with ethnic communities and mention even people's names on national TV on the basis of their ethnicity. I think my point was the perception that we want to create in the fight against corruption should not be a fight against corruption in terms of just creating perceptions. It should be an honest fight against corruption to fix a serious problem that we have in this country. Two, as a political party, I want to believe that both President Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto still hold dear the promise that they had for this country, that we can indeed create a political party that is devoid of ethnicity, that is devoid of personality-based politics, and one that will give an opportunity to the likes of Isaac Mwaura and others who have ambitions to hold positions, other positions later in life, that anybody in this country can have an equal opportunity. And I want to agree with the President that it is not time to politic. And therefore, those within the political party that is Jubilee, and that's why I said as inconsequential as it is, the exit of David Murathe, those who keep taking us back, it is those in that cartel that I have told you are working day and night to derail people, and they wake up in the morning thinking about William Ruto and how to stop him. They sleep thinking about William Ruto and how to stop him. Anything that William Ruto does is about his ambitions for 2022, and nobody looks at what William Ruto is doing in terms of working as the president's principal assistant in what the president spoke about today, moving from Kisumu to Moyale, from Moyale to Namanga to Mombasa, rolling out development projects that will benefit all the people of this great country. I think it's people like the likes of David Murathe who are taking us back, and the cartels that I'm referring to. I will say again, Linda, they have gotten very desperate. You heard them yesterday say that it does not matter to him that they can walk out of Jubilee and create another political formation like they did from KANU to TNA. I don't know him and who. But I want to tell him and many of our supporters that Jubilee, we still hold dear that promise of a united political party that will unite all the people of Kenya. Lastly, the call for a referendum, Linda, is a good call. but it must also be genuine.
Okay.
It must be a call for a referendum that will fix the problems that afflict this country.
Okay.
When we now even start running to the courts, and David said it last night, Linda, if you allow me to make that point.
Yes,
David said it last night that they will go for that constitutional opinion, to the Constitutional Court for an opinion that might even inform the constitutional changes that they want. Therefore, if you want to use the judiciary to now go and procure, maybe through friendly judges, an advisory opinion that would say that we have these problems in our constitution that we need to fix. If we need to fix our constitution, let us do it with honesty and genuineness. If we need to fix our problems in this country, let us be honest and hold our integrity dear as political leaders to each other and to the people of this great country.
That would be a great place to end this conversation on the big story tonight. Mheshimiwa Isaac Mwaura, I'm sorry I'm not able to give you final comments because of time, but we've been having a very interesting conversation on the way forward for Jubilee with respect to David Murathe's sentiments. Kimani Ichung'wah, Kikuyu Member of Parliament, thank you so much for speaking to us on the big story. Stay safe with the safety issues that you've raised. Isaac Mwaura, nominated Senator, thank you so much for your time. And of course, a big thank you to Joshua Kipto as well, who spoke to us at the beginning of this show. I'm Linda Ogutu. Have a good night. Akisa Wandera and Yusuf Ibrahim are up next on KTN Prime. That's a pair you really do not want to miss. Have a good night.